All right, thanks for joining me. This is gonna be my first live stream, so I'm just getting it together here. So I'm just gonna scroll through the Twitter, the timeline, see what we have here. I'm gonna just get my perspective. Pretty much like I've been saying, I'm not here to say what's necessarily what's right or wrong. Just looking to think, looking to see what's the best option, and just seeing if just as a concerned citizen, seeing what solutions and what might be the best thing to do. So let me just go down my see what I had posted here. First thing I see is this person Princess Six posted this. Looks like it's Time Magazine. Issa Rae is on the cover. It says Issa Rae plus 17 more leaders working to close the racial wealth gap. From what I understand, Time Magazine is a white owned publication. So I would just ask questions, try to ask as many questions as possible. Why would they really care about closing the racial wealth gap? And then who was Issa Rae? As far as I know, she's an entertainer. What experience does she have, and what knowledge does she have? And I guess you have to see it in the book. I'm not sure, but working to close the racial wealth gap. I would ask what are the solutions, and then how long is it going to take to get these implemented, and how come they haven't been implemented already? And if there's somebody in the way of those solutions, who are they? But Issa Rae, I don't know about her qualifications as far as what we can do to close the racial wealth gap. I know one thing we can do though. Um, we can, all these benefits that some of these migrants are getting. We can get those resources, and a lot of black folk can do a lot with that. A lot of black people are very innovative. Very willing to work, and just need some black people just need funding and maybe have ideas and products. So some of these resources that get sent over to the migrants need to be back to us, the taxpayers, than the actual citizens. Speaking of migrants, here goes something.
$12.52 per day to purchase food and baby supplies. That's about 40% more than what the average low income American got per day in government food stamps. But consider this: New York City is giving each migrant approximately $12.52 per day to purchase food.
I don't know why my internet is running slow all of a sudden.
But consider this: New York City is giving each migrant approximately $12.52 per day to purchase food and baby supplies. That's about 40% more than what the average low income.
You hear that? So they give the migrants about 40% more.
That's about 40% more than what the average low income American food and baby supplies. That's about 40% more than what the average low income American got per day in government food stamps or SNAP benefits in 2022 at $7.
What they said in 2022
per person per day. The prepaid cards are yet another service being offered to migrants.
said 2 times the amount states give monthlies and services for single veterans. Who's voting for these people? Yeah, I'm talking about the Democrats and Republicans. Both of them are allowing this to happen. Now, this says, I would hate to be a police officer in New York City. It says happening now. NYPD Strategic Response Group making violent arrests of pro-Palestine protesters at the WOLP at the WOL Palestine action at the Brooklyn Museum. This is the other thing with multiculturalism. Now, I'm not necessarily anti-immigrant, like the person. I mean, some of these people are good people, but of course, just like in any group, black, white, in any group, there's going to be good and bad. The thing is, these people already had their issues with Israel, so they bring that issue over here. Now we here we absorb that issue. We shouldn't have to deal with people protesting because I can't, as a Black American, go to Israel or Palestine and protest my displeasure with America. And well, I don't know for sure, but it's I just deal with probability. It's highly unlikely that they'll let me do that. Yet we got people coming over here protesting what's going on somewhere else instead of these people actually being over there and actually fighting for the people that they say they care about so much. You need to be over there because essentially, how I perceive it is that they're asking America to do something about it instead of them doing something about it. When it's their country, they holding up another country's flag. Are you American first or are you Palestine first? Of course, we don't. I mean, any person with a heart would want to see atrocities being taken place, but at the same time, I have yet to see too many Palestinian. You name me three Palestinian protests marching on behalf of Black people in this country and marching on behalf of reparations and justice. On the contrary, many of these people are anti-Black and racist. Not all, but there's a number of them. You give me a percentage, 20%, 10%. I don't know. Whatever percent is too many for me. And that look like a black dude. Like, what is this dude black? Like, what are you even doing there? It's not even your fight. This what I some people like, and I don't know because I don't have all the facts. But dude, look black. Like, what are you doing there? It's not your fight. It's not your fight. One thing I noticed, man, we'll never have world peace in this country, and I'm an optimist, but we'll never in this world, I should say, because we got too many jealous people in this world, and we got too many people that just don't know how to mind their own business. This from Tariq Shoot. It says too easy. This lady Biona, guess she's a creative, adorable queen of plugs, I guess. But it says, I think African Americans just need to understand. For most of us Africans, so she's an African. Washing hair in the kitchen sink is a concept that's quite baffling for us to comprehend. Washing hair where food is handled, no matter how clean you wash the sink, is a lot to process. Now, he said too easy. I don't know what he means by too easy. You have to ask him. But in my experience dealing with, so I was just helping out this one guy, right? And the project is called Privy, where he's an East Indian guy, and he was working with some Africans because over on the Eastern Hemisphere, a lot of these people don't have plumbing, right? So Privy was supposed to be like a portable toilet for people in that situation because in India, many places in India, and in many places in Africa, they just don't have running water. They don't have plumbing in 2024. Now, for her to say, you know, first of all, it says I think African Americans just need to understand. For most of us Africans, now I'm I'm I don't want to assume, but I bet that she's actually tweeting this from America and not where she's actually from. So I would ask, why are you not in your homeland? Because this is the thing. I'm not against immigration, but the thing is, what you have to do, or the thing that seems to work best, is instead of just leaving and never going back, or maybe just sending some money, the best thing to do is what you learned here, you actually take that back home and build the place you love so much. Or else just continue to do what you did do, which is defect, and go ahead and put that flag down and just go ahead and raise the American flag. Because it kind of looks ridiculous to say that, because when I see these immigrants and they talk about, well, black people and black Americans, you had to build the country, but black people didn't have to be so innovative with all the inventions that we came up with. That's just our culture. And the other thing, even if black people were forced to do the labor, which they were in many cases, in most cases, for you to leave your country that you would say white people control, white people, you know, um, pretty much led the construction of the country. You're saying that, I mean, this is a fact. You're saying that the white people are able to build something better than you and your own people, and that's okay with you. You're willing to come and be a second class citizen, and you're willing to kind of undermine other people. Now, when she talk about washing hair in the sink is is a concept that quite baffling for us to comprehend. Again, these people don't even have running water in many cases, so maybe that's why. They don't live in the most sanitary place. I'm telling you, dude, I've worked with these. I worked to try to help out these people, and that's the thing. Like, I'm not helping out no more people that will bite the hand that feed them, or be ungrateful. You can look up Privy. It's a real thing. Privy toilets. They trying to get toilets, portable toilets for these people in these areas because they don't have plumbing. It's not like they living in the best situation. If you live in the best situation, you wouldn't even be over here. This is something from Bradley. Um, Trying to get more motivation and inspiration and positive stuff on my timeline, but here's something from Bradley. The fear of losing is the very reason you don't win. I guess just digest that. I don't really know how I would interpret that, but I guess I would say a lot of times the fear of losing is the reason people don't win, though, if I really think about it, because sometimes a lot of people won't even start because they're afraid that they'll lose. So they kind of automatically lose because they never start. And if you don't have the confidence, because sometimes you will get knocked down, but if you don't have the confidence to keep pushing through, you gotta think you're gonna win. Or why play the game? Like Herm Edwards said, you play the game to win. You play to win the game. Here's something else I saw.
You just punched dog right there.
So some lady, I guess this guy was abusing his dog, and maybe he was abusing the dog because looking at the clip, he was talking kind of crazy
You
to the
just
dog.
punched that dog.
She said he punched him. Now my thing is, you should never abuse. Well, you shouldn't abuse animals, right? Now we do eat animals, by the way. So we pick and choose which animals we decide we wanna protect. But is this lady, like, is she this adamant about actual human rights for other people? Is my question. And if she is, maybe she is, maybe she's not. I don't know.
You punched it.
Man, your business.
Now he's saying mind your business. Is it should she be minding her business, or is this something that you should be recording?
I'm worried about that fucking
You
dog.
gotta worry about this dog.
Obviously, I do. You're sitting there beating the shit out of it. You guys are fucked up.
And she said you guys are fucked up. What does she mean by that?
You guys are fucked up.
I don't know the race of this lady, so I don't want to assume. But that statement kind of sounded like she was saying, like, who is she talking about? You guys, black people?
You guys are fucked up.
You say what?
So that's fucked up. You're fucked up.
You fucked up.
Bro, you're beating the shit out of your dog.
Fuck up.
Okay, I'm gonna let these guys know and I'll be calling the cops.
I don't give a
That was animal abuse,
Call
dude.
them.
I'm gonna.
Fuck is you talking about? Stop playing with me. Calm the fuck down.
That dog probably be getting abused like a
You doing
bug.
too fucking much. Tell me what the fuck to do with my dog? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Man, I don't beat the shit out of my dog. That's not so. I mean,
Hey, man, your motherfucking business.
I am. I'm just waiting
All
for.
the
I'm just.
fuck you got to do. Shut the fuck up talking to me. How
I'm
about
minding
that?
my business.
Fuck is wrong.
All right.
Courts. So you're saying that you would like a gentlemanly man, somebody who courts you, takes you on a date, all of these sorts of things?
It says she's a dog.
So you're saying that you would like a gentlemanly man, somebody who courts you, takes you on a date, all of these sorts of things?
Absolutely.
I'm a little bit in two minds.
I guess she identifies as a dog. Hey, I apologize for
Absolutely.
this,
I'm a little bit in two
for the
minds here,
delay
'cause I
with
can
the
hear what
internet.
you're saying, but then I can see that you're dressed as a cat.
I'm a dog, so
and you call yourself a dog.
woof. Yes.
Do you think that that might be a deterrent for a man who is more traditional?
Woof. Yes.
Do you think dog?
Woof. Yes.
Do you think that that might be a deterrent?
She don't even know what wolf mean.
Woof. Yes.
Do you think that that might be a deterrent for a man who is more traditional if you're dressing like a dog?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I'm not.
So when you look at a relationship, are you looking at like a pet owner type relationship, or like two dogs in the relationship, or what's your ideal?
A partner who loves and respects me and sees me as an equal that I am.
But you see
A dog and a man
relationship
is
or
not
like
equal.
two dogs in the relationship, or what's your ideal?
A partner who loves and respects me and sees me as an equal that I am.
But you see
Equal.
your ideal.
A partner who loves and respects me and sees me as an equal that I am.
But you see yourself as an actual dog, right? You said you like to go play fetch.
Woof. Yes.
So how does that tie into your relationship? Like, what do
I like to see her. You throw a frisbee, and I want to see how many times she can catch the frisbee in her mouth like a dog.
you looking for if you're a dog?
I'm looking for somebody to throw me a ball and then also say, oh, hey, I appreciate you, you know.
So you're saying that you would like a gentleman.
So this is something this lady just talked about, the migrants getting all this money. And this right here says, insane. The United States Secretary of Treasury is now openly encouraging both inwards and outwards investments in Chinese business. Who is paying these people? Well, I'll say who is paying these people. I would say looks like
What?
You know, whenever somebody says something or does something, you need to ask, who is paying them. Why are they saying this? Why are they doing it? Who is paying them? And likely, she don't work for the people, because it say, who do these people work for? I would say China. Whoever, they work for the people to put money in their pockets. So if you just voting for them and you ain't putting money in their pockets, they probably don't work for you. These are salesmen. And working in sales, I can tell you, the salespeople tell you anything. Some of them.
Why do we want to, is there a national purpose in encouraging Americans to invest in Chinese equities? Why do we want to, is there a national purpose in encouraging Americans to invest in Chinese equities that you're aware of? Because I'm not.
Well, I mean, in general, I think the view has been that both inward and outward investment are economically beneficial. There certainly
I'll
can
want to
be
move on to
cases.
another.
So my whole thing is with this is like, are we enemies with China or what? Because they, the politicians will say stuff about China, but yet many of our companies here, or the companies that operate here, do business with China. Many of the politicians do business with China, and they let China buy up land, which should be illegal. That should be overturned right now. The fact that they don't overturn it lets you know that these people that you actually vote for, they're not competent. Even if they corrupt, they're not competent.
Why do we want to, is there a national purpose in encouraging Americans to invest in Chinese equities that you're aware of? Because I'm not.
Well, I mean, in general, I think the view has been that both inward and outward investment are economically beneficial. There certainly
I'll
can
want to
be
move on to
cases-
another issue.
There
But
can be cases
encouraging the building of the Chinese economy is not thought by most members of Congress. The Chinese economy is not thought by most members of Congress to be a good use of federal funds. Why do we want to?
Federal funds. Wow. I mean, it sold us out. Why be racist? I mean, if a person is racist at this point, now we do understand a lot of people who are sick that are racist, but if you racist at this point, when you see these folks have sold you out, they don't give a damn about you. You're not in a group. You just want to be stupid at this point. It says, just hold up, Jesus, what percentage of conservative influencers do you think are federal informants or intelligence assets? Well, we know that that dude from Fresh and Fit, the dude to go by Myron Gaines, that's not his real name, and he's already said he's worked for government agencies. So people, you get these conservative guys, they'll say smaller government and they don't trust the government, but yet they follow people who don't even deny that they work for the government. I mean, these people don't think, and it's not just them. I mean, people in general don't think. Not to say that I need to think more. I need to, that's what I'm trying to think, because you can't just you can't just sleepwalk through life. A lot of people just sleepwalking.
Condolences go out to the families. Obviously, our deepest condolences go out, and our heartfelt condolences go out to the families who lost three folks who are military folks, who are brave, who are.
It's possible that they care about the people, but it's possible that they don't care about the people. And just looking at their actions, doesn't look like they really care, and it's just a lot of empty words.
Are always fighting, who are fighting on behalf, and
they cared about the people that $53 million that they giving these migrants, non-citizens, people that broke into the country illegally, they would be going to the American citizens.
Of this administration.
Hi, Corinne, military wife here. Just so you know, the United States military does not fight on behalf of your administration, doesn't fight on behalf of any administration. The United States military fights on behalf of the United States and the United States Constitution. The 3 U.S. soldiers who were killed in Jordan over the weekend and the 34 others who were injured were there defending the freedom and liberty of Americans. This is what happened.
Were they? Maybe they were. What if they weren't?
Of Americans. This is what.
Was she doing anything about it? If they weren't and they were doing something that they shouldn't have been doing, would this lady do something about it? Would anybody do something about it and speak up? Because when people speak up, like Snowden and stuff like that, they get outcast and people don't even do anything. They just look. They just watch.
What happens when you hire a black lesbian simply because she's a black lesbian and not because she's any good at her job? Lesbian simply because she's a black lesbian and not because she's any good at her job. It should be illegal to be this incompetent.
Now, this lady says she was just hired because she's a black lesbian. Now, maybe for, aesthetics, that's why she was hired. Yeah, but whoever was in that position would do the same lying. Just looking at the history of everything, it could be a white man, a black man, a Hispanic man, or vice versa. Whoever is in that position is usually lying to the people. So why do
3 U.S. soldiers?
My whole thing is why are people so comfortable with liars in position of power? one conclusion is birds of a feather. The majority of the people are liars.
Soldiers are dead. And the most this woman has to offer is to mumble some incoherent sounds like a stroke victim. Now, maybe if we had a president who knew his head from a hole in the wall, whose
That's cruel to stroke victims.
Now, maybe if we had a president who knew his head from a hole in the wall, soldiers are dead. And the most this woman has to offer is to mumble some incoherent sounds like a stroke victim. Now, maybe if we had a president who knew his head from a hole in the wall, whose fortitude on the world stage was.
Now, she said a president that knew his head from a hole in a wall. When I hear people say that Donald Trump is stupid or Joe Biden is stupid, my question is, well, if they're so stupid, why don't you just run in? If you so much more, because when somebody says, well, they're stupid, then that makes me think that I have to conclude that they may think that they're smarter than that person. That's a possibility. So, I mean, is this lady saying she's smarter than Joe Biden? She's more qualified than Joe Biden? Because if you want something done right, you're gonna have to do it yourself.
Stronger than a wet spaghetti noodle, we wouldn't have dead soldiers and a press secretary who has all the intellectual capacity of a bean sprout.
Then she should be the press secretary then.
Who has all the intellectual capacity of a bean sprout.
I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Like, these people aren't really honest. If they so stupid and they do such a bad job, then why don't you do the job better? See, the thing is, a person like me, I can try to run for office, but I'll be too honest, and I'll want to hold too many people, including the citizens themselves, accountable. And people really don't like accountability. I don't care who you are. Most people don't like accountability.
All their own companies get, but this is about minority-owned companies.
Hold on, what does it say? You are an American freedman. Freedman man. Men are not part of diversity. They want you to dress like a lady to get those cereal boxes on the shelf.
But this is about minority-owned companies getting a fair share, and me and Snoop is going to. But this is about minority-owned companies getting a fair share.
Minority owned. See, with these vague words, you got to just be specific. You just got to say black owned. Putting everybody else in it have clearly. Somebody said, "Why argue the obvious?" Who said that? Somebody said that. Said, "Why are you arguing the obvious?" The obvious is Master P knows it's racist, Asians, Hispanics, and all kind of other people. So to act like we have a minority coalition and we have some camaraderie with them is stupid. You may have a camaraderie with somebody on an individual, but on a group level, we don't have camaraderie with them because they don't support our issues. They actually are against many of our issues. Many of them talk down on black people, saying they lazy. I'm not lazy, and I know plenty of black people that aren't lazy. So when I hear that, that's just a false narrative. Are there some lazy black people? Yeah, but there's lazy everybody's.
But this is about minority-owned companies getting a fair share, and me and Snoop is going to be that verse. When I talk about minorities, I'm talking about blacks, Asians.
Why? Where's the Asians and the Latinos speaking out for black people?
About minorities, I'm talking.
He just a boot. I don't say he a bootlick, but he just. How can I say this? Like, because Master P is an accomplished person, but when he does this, he actually hurts the group by putting this stuff out there. And I don't know for what reason. If he afraid, I don't know. If he misinformed, I have no idea. But when he says stuff like that, it actually hurts black people as a group. Because I don't care about minority-owned businesses. I care about black-owned businesses. The same way they don't care about our businesses. And there's nothing wrong with that. You get a good product out there, you market it right, and then it don't matter who you are. And if they want to miss out on it, it don't matter. If it's black, it's gonna pop off anyway once they get to the masses, and it's a good product.
Talking about blacks, Asians, Latinos, women,
Women.
whites, that
Listen to this. He said
women, whites
white.
that are not
So who
into
then?
that big corporate system.
So all the whites that ain't into the system. And nothing against Master P. It's not personal or nothing like that, but hey, you just gotta ask these questions, man. How many of these people that you listed off, how many of those groups are fighting on our behalf?
That are not into that big corporate system. And my question is to
And not just saying words, vague words.
these corporate giants, why have a diversity department if you're not going to give us real diversity? And my question is to these
this a real
corporate giants,
question?
why have a question is to these corporate giants, why have a diversity department if you're not going to give us real diversity? But
Well, I
this
can tell
is
you that. You know, one reason may be because it's a head fake to stall you out, and it make you think that they actually have changed their ways. So if that is the case, I could be wrong. You know, if I'm wrong, then hey, I don't, you know, no big deal. But if I'm right, I mean, what then? Would you change? Would you change the way you deal with them? I mean, if that is true, and it's just a pump fake, and they just trying to stall you out just to make you feel better, then what?
question is to these corporate giants, why have a diversity department if you're not going to give us real diversity?
Characterize Zelensky.
Well, Zelensky.
George W. Bush called him
This
our
is
generation's
I think they
Winston
talked about the
Churchill.
president.
Well, this is
of
W, right?
Ukraine.
Yeah.
Not a very.
Who
We'll
is
see.
Zelensky? Exactly. How would you characterize Zelensky?
Well, Zelensky.
George W. Bush called him our generation's Winston Churchill.
Well, this.
And it says you won't hear this on BBC or CNN, and that's why the mainstream media is dying. Just because a person is in a position doesn't mean that they are qualified. You look at Blockbuster and Netflix. It was people in Blockbuster that basically doubted Netflix and thought it was just basically nothing, a trash idea. And now Netflix is still around. Blockbuster is really gone the way of the dodo bird. And the same thing with the BBC and CNN. All these companies being ran like trash because the internet can provide the consumer with something that these folks can't. And I want them to get into all that. But they'll just let the ship sink and won't ever take accountability and hope they got enough money to hold it off, and then they'll be laying off people and act like it was something else. But really, it was just bad leadership and not the incompetence and the unwillingness to adjust with the time and give the people what they want to do right by the people.
Who is Zelensky?
But another thing too, it's a lot of cowards that work in these stations. So one thing about cowards, it's hard to get them to do the right thing. That's pretty much what makes them cowards. No conviction.
Exactly. How would you characterize Zelensky?
Well,
No
Zelensky.
integrity.
George W. Bush called him our generation's Winston Churchill.
Well, this is W, right?
Yeah.
Not a very thoughtful man. He was a comedian who made a living acting on stage, frequently pretending to be a transvestite, doing things with various body parts that I won't go into. And he was picked up by an oligarch named Kolomoisky. Kolomoisky is the individual who's probably more responsible than anybody else for funding this atrocity we call the Azov Regiment that runs around with the swastikas and Nazi gear.
That runs around with the swastikas and Nazi gear. So I see Americans running around with the Ukraine flag, and just ask them. I would just ask people questions instead of arguing with people, because being right really doesn't matter. If you're right, I would just ask them, hey, because even if you're right, I would ask them, are you going to change your behavior? because a lot of people ain't gonna change their behavior. You seen the Bill Maher interview with Patrick Bet David. Bill Maher really had no logical reason to want to vote for Gavin Newsom. So you got people supporting Ukraine, and we've seen there's plenty of evidence that says some of these people are Nazis, and the people just try to ignore it. Just ask them, are you okay supporting Nazis? And then see what they say. And if they can't answer the direct question, a person that can't answer the direct question, most high probability, they just trying to be deceptive or trying to hide something, how they really feel. Some of these people don't care about the fact that they have a Nazi regime there.
That runs around with a swastikas and Nazi gear and so forth. And he was picked and then blessed by Victoria Nuland and the State Department as their man. Now, when he originally ran for office, he ran on a peace platform. And he was overwhelmingly elected across the country because he said, if I am elected as your president, I will make peace with Russia. Ukrainians didn't want to go to war with Russia. They were looking for a way out of this and a resolution to the crisis. Of course, once he was in there, he took a different road. And I can't help but think that that road was defined for him by us.
This is the Mike Baggs. He posted this. Logic claims his white mother, was a racist who used to call him and his siblings the N-word with the hard R. Well, we know this kind of stuff happened because back in the chattel slavery times here in America, you would have a white person rape a black woman and then have a kid with that black woman. And then once the kid was born, the kid would still be a slave. So you can be a racist and have black kids. You can be a racist and actually have sex with a black person. So, people would try to act stupid. Andrew Carnegie said one time, people that try to play dumb are dumb.
So for those of you out there who don't know,
Man, what the hell?
So for those of you out there who don't know, because I would really love to discuss this, but I'm going to ask you about a specific. You out there who don't know, because I would really love to discuss this, but
I think I'm gonna have to end this stream, see what's going on.
I'm going to ask you about a specific situation, and then we can get into the rest of it. My mother, Terry Lee Miller.
So he's talking to his father to set the stage. He's talking to his father, his black father.
So for those of you out there who don't know, because
I wanted people to hear this because his black father's like, she never called me that. Okay, but you ain't dealing with the issue that she was a racist and
love to
she
discuss
did call
this,
him
but
that
I'm going to ask you about a specific.
from what he says. And if he did say that, if she did say it, how do you feel about that? That you had your kid being raised by a racist
Situation, and then we can get into the rest of it.
Well, that's messing up. I had to do another stream where I actually go into this and let you hear what his father was saying. But his father seemed like he was kind of cooning it up. I don't know his father, nothing personal.
When I'm black and
he acting confused. So why would you say
black,
that? Yeah, you black.
Especially when I'm black.
It's not like it couldn't.
Bessie and my brother. That's deep. Wow. That is.
Man. All right, I'm gonna end the stream now, but I'll come back on later and try to make sure that this stuff is running. Maybe clean up some stuff on its computer.